Israeli military opens probe after videos show Israeli forces bleep 2 Palestinians at close range. Associated Press. Israel on Friday said it was opening a military police investigation into the bleep of 2 Palestinians in the West Bank after an Israeli human rights group posted videos that appeared to show Israeli troops bleep the men, one who was incapacitated and the second unarmed, during a military raid in a West Bank refugee camp. The B'Tselem human rights group accused the army of carrying out a pair of illegal executions. Below are your comments. There's only so much that tired talking points, lobbying and declarations of democracy and rights will accomplish, when everything is now recorded on video and you find that there are dozens of UCH incidents per day for decades without any change in tactics. Regardless of the investigation, most of the people know that they are not going to be punished for any crimes, and that's what happened in recent history. The army opened a probe. How nice of them. What about the thousands of other probes over the last few decades? What they aren't telling you is that their probe is designed solely to discover who took the video and to figure out how it got out to the public. Israel is being exposed for what they've been doing for decades. Continued Israeli presence in the West Bank and the establishment of Israeli settlements in the territory is a war crime. Settlement construction is a violation of international law, specifically the Fourth Geneva Convention, on which Pr. Next news. Black American solidarity with Palestinians is rising and testing long-standing ties to Jewish allies. Associated Press. Sidney Wallace, a black Jewish community activist, never felt compelled to travel to Israel, though "next year in Jerusalem" was a constant refrain at her Chicago synagogue. The 39-year-old said she had plenty to focus on at home, where she frequently gives talks on addressing anti-black sentiment in the American Jewish community and dismantling white supremacy in the U.S. Below are your comments. Last week Benjamin Bibi Netanyahu gave a history lesson to America that was very interesting. Said the Palestinians were offered a second state 3 times, but said no. They said no because they won't sign any paper with Israel on it. It is exposing what was always there. It is no mystery. The same folks all love Farrakhan. Back home in Chicago, Wallace has navigated speaking about her support for Palestinians while maintaining her Jewish identity and standing against anti-Semitism. She says she doesn't see those things as mutually exclusive. Less than no, you are just lost. Benjamin Bibi Netanyahu said last week, Palestinians. Here's a news flash AP. That century-long alliance between black and Jewish activists ended 55 years ago when Martin Luther King was assassinated. And then Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton and Louis Farrakhan came along. Next news. Al Jazeera to refer bleep of cameraman in Gaza to war crimes court. Reuters. Al Jazeera is preparing a legal file to send to the International Criminal Court, ICC, over what it called the assassination of one of its cameramen in Gaza, the Qatari-based network said on Saturday. The cameraman, Samer Abu Daqqa, was bleeped by a drone strike on Friday while reporting on the earlier bombing of a school used as a shelter for displaced people in the southern Gaza Strip, according to the Qatar-based broadcaster. Al Jazeera said Israeli drones fired missiles at the school that. Below are your comments. It is a very dangerous job for cameramen in the battlefield for both sides. How could you sue the damage to the court? Of course they are. They are the same group that cut off a woman from speaking on a live broadcast when she said that Hamas was hijacking the humanitarian aid trucks and hoarding the food and water. Not sure how it's a war crime. He was where he was not supposed to be. Don't forget to include bleep of people at a concert, bleep of people in a kibbutz, use of civilians as cover, and death of hostages in tunnels, who were there only because they were taken captive, as war crimes. Next news. Iran executes agent of Israel's Mossad intelligence service, official media. Reuters. This person communicated with foreign services, specifically Mossad, collecting classified information on, and with participation with associates, provided documents to foreign services, including the Mossad, it said. It did not name the person. Below are your comments. They've been bleep protesters of women's rights at a pace unseen this past year. And they run the UN Human Rights Council, shows how trustworthy the UN is. A 65% surge in number of executions so far this year. Iranian regime has executed more people than the number of countries under UN watchdog combined. The victims often denied legal defense or quick and improper trials. Iran, like Russia and China and North Korea and others, will get rid of political or religious dissidents by falsely claiming them to be spies for their enemies. We've seen it a million times. It's business as usual in the world of the bad guys. Iran executed an unknown person after an unknown trial and unknown appeal. Were there any witnesses to said execution, or was it an unknown execution? Next news. Israel is testing out flooding the Hamas tunnels. Here's what it could look like scaled up. CNN. The method is difficult and controversial. It risks contaminating freshwater supplies and damaging whatever infrastructure remains on the surface. See. Below are your comments. Bad things may happen when flooding the tunnels. That should have been a consideration when building them, not so much when destroying the enemy labyrinth of tunnels for military maneuvers. It also risks contaminating freshwater supplies and damaging whatever infrastructure remains on the surface. Please wait a moment. Well, that sounds like a reason to flood all the tunnels. We can only think of what a wonderful place Gaza could have been, if Hamas had spent their time, and money improving Gaza and not building tunnels. The tunnels were built by well-trained and educated engineers who considered all possible attacks from the occupation, including pumping water. Please subscribe to my channel. And if you like it, please thumbs up.